Hi, welcome to AwkwardHamster. Today we'll be taking a look at this RAVPower Xtreme Series power bank, and this model number is RP-PB14. Let's look at the box here before I open it up. On the back, it lists a lot of features and specs. So let's first go over the specs on the bottom over here. List the model number, the battery type, lithium polymer, capacity 2300 milliamps. Now the input is DC 15 to 24 volt at 2 amps, and outputs at a variety for the USB. For USB 1 is 5 volt 1 amp, USB 2 5 volt 2.5 amps. Then also outputs at 9 volt, 12, 16, 19, 20 volts at 4.5 amps. That's for the DC output. And lists the size and the weight is 560 grams. Now this is advertised to basically power your mobile device, including notebooks and tablets that exceed the 5 volt requirement. And let's see this, there's LCD display, USB output, power icon, capacity. Nothing else on the back over here. Alright, let's just open this up and take a closer look at it. It's a very fancy box, very fancy packaging. So let me just put this to the side here. Here's everything that came in the box. It came with a carrying case, carrying pouch basically, and on the front has RAVPower. Then on the inside here's a little pocket. On the outside there's also a pocket. So let me just first put this to the side. It came with a manual, and this manual goes over the specs, functionality, and also covers operations in a number of languages. For the AC adapter, its input at 100 to 240 volts, outputs at 20 volt 2 amps. So this is a universal. And also the top over here, this piece comes off. So if I'm in Europe, I can just put on a different connector. Before I get to the main battery, let's just take a look at the connectors over here. Let's take a closer look at the battery bank. On the front, on top, it says RAVPower. On the side over here is a power button. If I just press this, it shows me the capacity left is 81% and currently set to 20 volt. On the side over here, we have the input for DC input charging, USB 2, USB 1, and then the DC output to charge like notebooks, for example. On the bottom, on the back, it lists the capacity, which is very important if you're traveling to international airports. Then also lists the outputs for each of the USB and also the DCs. And on the side, just nothing on the side. It's all clear. To change the voltage, just hold down the power button for about 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And then just press the power button again to cycle through 9 volt, 12, 16, 19, 20. So my computer I have with me right now is a HP computer. So I'm going to set it to 19 volts. To help demonstrate the notebook charging, I have a Hewlett-Packard EliteBook on the bottom, the silver, and then a consumer model Hewlett-Packard notebook on the top. They both require 19 volt input, but they have different amperage requirements. The bottom one requires a 4.7, while the top is below a 4. So right now on the RAVPower, I have it set to 19 volt output. For the connector, I chose J for Hewlett-Packard. And then plug it into the EliteBook first. So let's plug in the EliteBook, and the charge light indicator is not lit. I believe that's because the EliteBook senses that it fell below the 4.7 amp output it needs. And the RAVPower only outputs at 4.5 amps. But if I were to plug it into the consumer model, the light lights up. So let me unplug it again. If I plug it in, it lights up. So it is charging the consumer model of the Hewlett-Packard. Now let's test charging on mobile devices. So with USB 1 output, I'm plugging my iPhone 6 Plus in there. It starts charging right away. It senses it. It starts on automatically. And for my iPad Air, I'm plugging USB 2, and it lights up already. It's charging. Now let's talk about the pros and cons. First, the pro. This has a 2300 milliamp capacity. So next time I head to Asia, I head to Iceland, anywhere international, I'm definitely going to bring this. Another pro is that the safety feature, auto on, auto off, very convenient. And with 3 outputs, USB 1, 2, and DC, I can charge my tablet, I can charge my iPad Air, my iPhone 6 Plus, and with a DC output, whether I'm using a HP computer or a Sony computer, I'm able to adjust the voltage output through just the pressing holding down this power button. It's nice that this came with a carrying pouch, but because of this nice thin design, I can just slide this into my notebook bag. Another pro is that it came with a plethora of connectors for a lot of the popular mobile devices out there. Now let's talk about the con. For charging like the iPhone or Android tablet, it's very simple because it all goes through USB. But for the DC output when charging a notebook, first you got to be aware of what your computer requirements are. And secondly, not all Hewlett-Packard or not all Dell are made the same. So for example, as I demonstrated earlier, the consumer line of Hewlett-Packard, it's also 19 volts, but it's below a 4.5 amperage requirement. So I can charge it using the RAVPower Xtreme series. But like my Hewlett-Packard EliteBook, which is like what a lot of business travelers use, it requires a 4.7 amperage output, 19 volt, 4.7 amp, and that, well, I cannot charge it using this RAVPower Xtreme. In the end, I would still highly recommend this unit. It's very easy to use. It's compact. It's not that light, but it's very compact. I can slide in my notebook bag, my book bag if I wanted to. And because there's a lot of options in here, I have other computers in this house. I don't have to use a MacBook. I don't have to use a EliteBook. I have other HPs and Acers in this house. So I can always use those computers. Well, thank you for watching this review of the RAVPower Xtreme series, model RP-PB14. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to contact me. RAVPower did send me this unit for review. Thanks for watching AwkwardHamster. Bye.